Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
And in the Lacey booth, your name?
Andrea Smith.
Hi, I'm sorry. What's your name?
Andrea Smith.
Andrea Smith. All right. So, Ms. Smith, you're here. You're on probation for a simple assault. The hope was that in time we could get that dismissed with compliance, but I think I see Ms. Eddy mental health treatment. I haven't seen proof of that, and I see that there's a new law violation pending. Is that where we are on the matter?
Yes, Your Honor. The city of Lacey had, I think back on February 12th, did an oral motion to revoke the SOC for failure to do the mental health treatment. I did speak with Miss Langley briefly this afternoon, and I don't know if she had a chance to talk to Miss Smith or not, or if Miss Alt has got a chance to talk to Miss Langley, but I thought Miss Langley was going to try to appear at some point this afternoon if her schedule allowed.
Oh, there you are. Hi, Miss Langley. I didn't see your face. So we've got Ms. Smith and Ms. Smith. All right. So we're here on a warrant return on an SOC. Ms. Eddy, as to that warrant return, what's the city's point of view?
Your Honor, I don't oppose quashing the warrant. I am requesting that bail be set in the amount of $250, given Ms. Smith's failure to appear history.
And then you're continuing with the motion to revoke based on a new law violation that's pending and lack of proof of mental health treatment?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're
Okay.
prepared.
Ms. Langley?
We're prepared to address that, Your Honor.
Okay, today rather than another day, or okay. So, all right, Ms. Eddy, I guess as a SOC, I'm wondering where we're headed. So somebody.
Yes, Your Honor. I emailed the clerk the police reports earlier this afternoon, so hopefully they'll be in the court's file.
And we will stipulate the fact, although she made some efforts, she has not even managed to begin the assessment. She went to BHR and they don't do them, and she tried to get in touch with another person, but she has not been able at this point to even begin the mental health assessment, and she stipulates to that.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Smith, what that means is the chance for dismissal would be taken away. And then we move on to sentencing. I'm going to read the police report from that event and see, are there enough evidence or not, find you guilty of the simple assault. And then we'll see if so, then we'll move on to sentencing and I'll hear from everybody, including you. So I've got that City of Lacey police report from the event of March of 28. And Vieja, Officer Vieja under penalty at the Walmart. Mr. McClendon was at the Walmart and looks like he threw a burrito at him and it hit him in the head and he turned around and confronted you about it. It was captured on video and it did not like that. So you were identified as the person who did it. So there you go. I find you guilty of that. Then the question is, what do we do on sentencing? So Ms. Eddy?
Yes, Your Honor. The city is asking that the court enter the conviction on the guilty. We're asking that the jail time be suspended for term of probation for the court, 1 to 2 years, and that the defendants still have the requirement to do the mental health and treatment component, and that she not commit any new law violations.
Ms. Langley?
Your Honor, I just can only say to the court that certainly I have no opposition to the balance of suspended time being imposed, but I'm not sure she's ever going to exceed with the mental health evaluation. Like I said, her one resource was BHR. They absolutely don't do court-related things. And then she was told someone else. She tried to go there and she couldn't make that connection. So I just don't have a lot of confidence in that. And given the nature of this, I'd ask the court not to impose it.
And your client's been in custody just, just
She's
since yesterday?
Yeah, as I understand, yes.
Day. Any other time in? I'm just looking through to see if there's been any other time. Yep. 18, I think your client was in.
She may have been in custody at the beginning.
Yeah. Some period of time from the 18th of March, 20th to through, I'm not sure when she was released. And at least 3 days there total, but I don't know if it was longer. So, Ms. Smith, you said you used to go to BHR or at least had some relationship with them. And so tell me, how do you support yourself? What are your resources?
I intend to start school in the summer. I live with my boyfriend, and he's a veteran. He's 100% disabled, so he gets a monthly pension. And we've been together for 7 years.
So he supports you then?
Pardon me?
He supports you financially?
Yes. He supports me.
All right.
And
Tell me about going to HR and what happened there.
what's that?
Tell me about going to BHR, trying to get the mental health eval and what happened there.
Well, I chose to do that myself. I went to treatment on Yakima, and then when I came back, I chose to go through another 6-week treatment. This was years ago. I wasn't a heavy user or anything, but I was homeless briefly. So I thought that would help my situation to stabilize me. And
so recently, before yeah.
Well, I walked in there. Well, I got into 1 or 2 places, and so I guess I was just confused. There's a place up by the courthouse, and then there's a place.
So the hub, you went into the hub?
They didn't do court ordered stuff.
Yeah.
Person that was that I talked to, and that they just did intake or assessment or something like that.
Yep.
And then there was a person that I was referred to, and she was on Capitol Boulevard, and so we got a hotel room there, and I got in, and got in a car from them, and then by the time to call and come back, when I went to their office, they were closed. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they are just not open anymore or what. And I've been recovering from an accident that I had earlier this year. I was run over by a truck, and I have some internal damage, and it makes it really hard for me to do even the slightest things like bending and walking for long distances. My stomach starts getting hard and distended, and
so have you ever had a diagnosis that would need mental health treatment? Have you ever had a diagnosis that would need mental health treatment? Did anybody tell you had a diagnosis for anything?
This is depression. I had a diagnosis for depression before. I'm just from being away from my kids and stuff.
Okay. So, Ms. Smith, what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to order you onto probation here. I don't think it's realistic to go at this again another couple of years trying to make this work. So I've accepted that I found you guilty of simple assault. Goes on your record. You got 3 days credit against that. For the next year, you got to stay out of trouble. So
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
violate the law. That includes after today. Don't violate the law. So you've got some other cases coming up, and I'm going to turn to my clerk here. We got some Olympia warrants. Can we get those set for tomorrow? Sure. Okay. We're going to clear up some of these Olympia warrants that I see here and set a hearing date tomorrow afternoon and make sure we get those cleared. And then you've got a court date coming up on the county matters. But after today, just don't violate the law, and we shouldn't have to impose any more jail on this matter. All right?
So, am I being released then?
Well, you're being released on this matter, but we're going to see you in custody tomorrow on the warrants from Olympia. So you're not going anywhere on those yet, but tomorrow maybe so. We have to look at those and get the Olympia prosecutor here and get you an attorney on those. They're older 2022 cases.
For what?
That's a good question. They're malicious mischief, an allegation of malicious mischief and pedestrian interference and obstructing justice going back to March and July of 2022. So warrants were issued, and so now we'll get those figured out tomorrow when we have the right parties here. Right. So
Or if I could just
yeah,
clarify the sentence. I heard the court say you weren't gonna, she has to not commit any new violations of law, but that I thought I heard you say she was not on probation.
well, that's the same. You know, I'm not going to have her do an affirmative mental health treatment on this case. I don't think it's useful given the lack of track record and lack of what I've heard today. So just stay out of trouble. And then tomorrow we'll be back at 1:30 on the in custody calendar to deal with those Olympia matters. And then that's it, I hope.
So is the court suspending her jail sentence and putting her on?
Right. 3 days credit and then 361 days suspended for the next year to stay out of trouble.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Langley, anything more?
Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, thanks. And so Ms. Smith, we'll see you tomorrow at 1:30 and then we should be able to deal with those Olympia matters and you'll have an attorney as well. Okay. So that's it for today. Hi, in the Olympia booth, your name?
What?
What's your name? What's your name?
My legal name is Lillian Thompson.
Okay. It's Thompson. So Lillian Joy Thompson?
That's my legal name, yep.
Okay. What's your date of birth?
February 21st, 2003.
Okay. All right. So we're here about another charge, a criminal trespass from yesterday. And I'm going to turn to Ms. Dutch.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is 2026397. We will waive further arraignment, stipulate to probable cause for purposes of today's hearing, enter a plea of not guilty, and request a court-appointed attorney. Ms. Thompson still qualifies for public assistance and has Attorney Hofstad assigned on her pending pretrial cases, which are set for June 9th.
Set for June 9th? What's the date?
Yep, you got some other court dates set on June 9th.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the date. It says it's
Well, here, let me talk to you about all that in order. We'll get back to that. So, Ms. Thompson, on this allegation from the City of Olympia on criminal trespass from yesterday, I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty, keeps all your rights in play. And then I'm going to appoint an attorney. I think Mr. Hofstad, he's already representing you on other cases. He'll represent you on this. And then as before, I'm going to hear from the prosecutor and from Ms. Dutch about release conditions. And Ms. Fingston, on behalf of the city.
Thank you, Your Honor. You know, at this point, we've been seeing Ms. Thompson every few days for new law violation allegations. She was just here either earlier this week or, yeah, I think it was on Monday, actually. She was here for another criminal trespass. Before that, she has those other pending that other pending case with the assault and obstruction disorderly. You know, at that time on Monday, we talked to her about that, and I found out I think she's from Idaho and doesn't have any resources here. But you know, we also talked about what does that mean, and I think that the court also gave her some information about resources. So to have her come back so quickly is obviously disappointing. At this time, I do have concerns that she will just continue to violate the law. Every few days, we're seeing her, and she gets PR'd. And now, now we have 3 active cases from a week's span of time. So at this point, I am asking for bail. I think it's appropriate. On the newest one, I'm asking for $500. And then I'm also asking to revoke release on the 2 pending matters. On 384, I would ask for another $500, and on 370 for $1,000, for a total of $2,000. She's already been trespassed from the location she was arrested last night at, but for the court to reiterate that she's not allowed to go to the Olympia Mall.
What?
Ms. Dutch?
Your Honor, Ms. Thompson is unfamiliar with this area, and this could be a situation where she was confusing the Capitol Mall with the Tacoma Mall. There was no intentional law violation on her part. I do note she has no FTA history. It's a nonviolent charge. She has no convictions at this time. So given the presumption of release, we would ask for a PR release and keep that June 9th hearing.
Well, we're going to keep the June 9th hearing. Ms. Thompson, yeah, I'm going to have you post some bond. I'm just going to place it on this one. 500 cash or bond needs to be posted because we've released you, rearrest, and at the same spot. So
Can I talk?
So you have to post 500 cash or bond on this one. I'm going to release you on the other 2.
So
But
I
in order
have
to be
to
fully
post
released,
500 cash or bond,
Right.
but can I talk? Can I legally talk? Yes.
well,
Not
I
about the
would
case
want Ms.
itself.
Dutch to give you some advice.
Okay.
I don't want you to talk about the case itself. We're being recorded, and I don't want anything you say to potentially be used against you. But if you have a question about release, we can address that.
I have a question about release.
Okay.
Will I be released today?
If you post 500 cash or bond, you will.
If with the impost?
You have to post 500 cash or bond to be
I
released.
don't have 500 cash or bond because guess what? I'm gonna talk. Excuse me, but I'm gonna talk.
Don't talk about the case itself.
I don't need to take your advice. I am a free human.
Yeah.
Okay?
So
I'm going
we're
to
finished with our hearing, and we're going to be
I
back
don't
on
have
June 9th.
$500
Mr.
to
Hofstad
give
and you will
Can you
talk in the
at least give
meantime.
it to me and I take it?
If you post, don't go back to the Capitol Mall or their property, as we told you
I
before. and
thought
Don't violate
the
the law.
Olympia Mall is where I went, which is different from the Tacoma Mall.
Right. You were at the Capitol Mall in Olympia, and that was where you weren't supposed to be, is what the allegation.
I thought that Olympia and Tacoma
Thompson,
went
Ms.
to
Thompson,
different malls.
please don't talk
and
about
just
the
got
case.
there with a guy.
Don't
We're
talk
done
about
with
the
the
bus.
Olympia
But
booth,
do I have
and
to
we will
give
take
the
Ms. Thompson back. Thank
$500
you.
or
And
can I
protect
leave?
saying too much.
Yeah, I won. Yeah.
Your Honor, can we move this up sooner than June 9th, given that she won't be able to post bail?
Leave it to Mr. Hofstad to make that
Yes.
decision, and he can always ask us within 24 hours. Just let us know if he needs an earlier hearing. So I'm going to leave that to Mr. Hofstad to let us know if there's something to do. I'm sure he will. Don't know if we have that. Okay. All right. So in the Olympia booth, your name?
Oh, hello.
Yep.
My name is Renee. Renee Gomez is my legal name.
I missed that. Ms. Gomez. Okay. It's Renee Rochelle Gomez.
Yes.
Okay.
Also-
And
also
so
known as
Ms.
Renee
All,
Grace. I'm sorry, what?
or no, Ms. Dutch, you've had a chance to talk. Okay. And now I'm being ordered or handed an order to consider under RCW 1077, Ms. Dutch?
I can.
Yes, Your Honor. After speaking with Ms. Gomez, I have concerns and I'm requesting a 1077 at this time. I do need to address count 2 and whether there is probable cause given that that particular charge occurred in the city of Tumwater and not the city of Lacey.
I don't know what's happening, but none of that makes sense to me. I didn't talk to anybody. Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to Ms. Dutch. Do you see the attorney with a scarf around her neck?
Yes, but what she was saying doesn't make sense to me. There's nothing.
Okay.
Nothing I have has anything to do with Lacey, and I'm not sure what conversation she's talking about.
City of Olympia. Maybe I misspoke. It's misspoke. It's the City of Olympia. Let me look at that. Ms. Dutch, what you're referring to.
Okay, my name is Renee Gomez, and I'm also known as Renee Christ, Jesus Christ Reborn. And the reason I'm saying this is because on February 18th, I'm here to remind the Thurston County Superior Court that on February 18th at 9 a.m., I attended a hearing whereby I declared a state of emergency. A state of emergency due to a complete state of United States government corruption. I called for a legal citizen's arrest of all of the United States court system, the United States government, and I called for the temporary closure of all U.S. courts, beginning from the Supreme Court all the way down to the lower courts. And so this court hearing is actually illegal because there is a citizen's arrest, a legal citizen's arrest that was not taken seriously by the Thurston County Superior Court, but the Department of Justice, the U.S. Department of Justice is drawing up papers because they realize
Ms.
that
Gomez,
they made a mistake.
let the judge have a moment to read the paperwork.
The judge can speak for herself. And so what I'm saying is that this court hearing is illegal. And so I'm only participating so far as to let you know that you are actually operating illegally. The Department of Justice knows what's going on. So does the U.S. Supreme Court. So does the U.S. Congress, the U.S. military, the FBI, and the CIA. They all know about me, Renee Christ, Jesus Christ Reborn. There has been a massive a persecution against me, and so when I have been trying to report crimes of the government through various hearings that I've been to in the last, I don't know, several months, in regarding to the illegal abduction and illegal restraining order placed upon me because there was an abduction of my children and trafficking of my children involving the Olympia School District, involving the Olympia Police Department, and so here we are at this hearing having to do with the Olympia Police Department, who are my mass rapists. And I don't want to go into the court case whatsoever. What I'm trying to say is that the Department of Justice is drawing up papers because I have called a citizen's arrest on the entire U.S. government. I have called on February 19th.
So, Ms. Gomez, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. I just need to hear from Ms. Pinkston from the City of Olympia.
This hearing is illegal, and you know this. Nathan Quartercrotch should have called this court closed as of February 19th. And all U.S. attorneys are corrupt
Ms.
because of their
Pinkston, I see count number 2 resisting may have occurred in the city of Tumwater when I looked at your police report filed.
Illegal
Something else to know?
criminal network in the United States government. And so what I'm saying is that all attorneys are practicing illegally right now, including you, a district court judge, district court county commissioner.
So,
You are practicing illegally, and you know it.
probable cause
And
for
so
count
does the
1,
U.S.
but
Supreme
not
Court.
2. If
You
there's
don't have
something
a
more to
legal
know,
leg
I'd
to
be
stand
happy
on.
to
This is
No, Your Honor,
an illegal court case right now happening.
So I'm going to, unfortunately, it's pretty clear Ms. Gomez is having a tough time. And
No, you need to hear what I'm
that
saying.
there's
This
a
is
good
an illegal
reason
court
for the
case. I made a
RCW
legal citizen's
1077
arrest via a
evaluation.
legal court
And
system.
we're done with Ms. Gomez. We're going to have another
You're
hearing
ignoring the
in
crimes.
custody
You are
on
literally
May
ignoring the
28th
crimes.
at 1:30 for a competency review. And I'm appointing Olympia Public Defense having found probable cause for count 1, but not count 2.
There was a legal citizen's arrest made on February 19th, 2026 at 9 a.m. In the Thurston County Superior Court. This is a legal
Ms.
citizen's
Gomez,
arrest.
we're
You
done
need
for
to
today. We're
reference
going to
this,
see you in a few
and you need
days.
to understand that
If
you're
you've
operating
got an
illegally.
attorney, he'll come
The
talk to
Department
you.
of Justice knows about this, and they're going to tell you about it. You need to contact them. This is wrong, what you're doing. You're ignoring legal issues here. You should not be having a hearing right now. And
So
you know
we're
that.
done with the Olympia booth, and we'll see you in a few days.
Did you hear what I said?
I did.
I want you to understand what I'm saying. I made a
I
legal
do
citizen's
understand
arrest
as
via
best
a
I
court of
can.
law.
We're done in Olympia. So in Thurston County, is that Mr. McLaren?
Andrea threw a hot burrito at a man's head.